Today is episode 35, and we're going to be releasing some blocks. Helena is actually going to be releasing some blocks on me, the Emotion Code Diva, Dana J. Smithers. I recently completed a animal Reiki certificate, and so now I've done the theory, and now I need to go out and I know to go into some volunteer places, maybe some shelters, or maybe even people in my building or whatever. But I do have a little bit of a block about it. So I'm going to talk about why someone might have blocks. And since it's September and a lot of people are going back to school, young and I don't want to say older, more mature students, could be entering back, or people just taking courses. Entrepreneurs are taking new courses online, doing a lot of new stuff. So we're going to be talking about that and how to use the law of attraction to help you move forward with that. I am a certified emotion code practitioner, and also, as I just said, learning some animal Reiki as well, because it's all about emotions. The work that we do is all about that. And I'm also a certified law of attraction coach. So I like to combine all those things together because it's all about the energy. So that's enough about me. On to our other diva.
Hey, let's go Hollywood Squares, Dana.
Let's do that right now. And we are in Hollywood Squares. All righty.
Hello, everyone. I'm Helena Jenikin. I'm a certified emotion code practitioner. I'm also a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I specialize in helping men and women release excess weight, release anxiety, fears and phobias, especially around hypnodontics. Hypnodontics is a specialty of mine, working with dental fears and phobias, anxieties with dentists and their patients. I'm also known as the Stop Smoking Lady. I help people stop smoking in one hypnosis session. With all my hypnosis sessions, I always include the emotion code. And that is about me.
That's right. Yeah, just checking. We are definitely we're live now. So that's excellent. All right, and we should have some of our loyal viewers making comments fairly soon. So as we like to do in every show, because we know we have some new followers, and also because this does go up onto YouTube, our YouTube channels, and on our website, et cetera, other social media places. Some people don't really know what the emotion code is about or how a session is conducted. So whether it's in person or not, and whether it's on a person rather, or an animal, it's all done the same way with a few little variances. So Helena, the first thing that you're going to have to ask me is what we call permission.
That's right. So I will ask Dana, do I have your permission to work on you today?
All right, and she already has that. And so since we're not in person, Helena is going to become my proxy. And so we would do this with anybody that we're working with. So the proxy just becomes
you. So after I have your permission, I'm going to tap into your subconscious mind and be able to ask your subconscious mind direct questions. In fact, I actually become you energetically.
Exactly. And something that we are going to ask about, so Helena is going to ask this question about the severity of it.
That's right. We like to get a severity level because we like to know where we're at, 10 being high and 1 being low. Our intention is to get it from a high number down to a low number, preferably to a 0. When I work with clients, or when we work with clients, we like to get someone that's wanting to work on something that's a 7, 8, 9, or a 10. So, Dana, what's your severity of your issue today?
Exactly. I'd say between an 8 and a 9, because I know what I need to do. Right? I mean, I'm a marketing person, right? So I know how to get this out there. But yeah, and you can also check, as Helena and I always check when we do a session anyway, just to see what it is. So we do that through what's called muscle testing.
Mm-hmm. So my muscle testing looks like this. I have an agreement with my subconscious mind to get yes or no answers. So I take these 2 fingers and interlink them. And then when I think of the word yes, my fingers stick together. They just won't pull apart. And when I think of the word no, they just slip apart. So when I'm asking, when I'm doing the work, I'll get a yes or a no.
That's right. And for my subconscious, when I'm working on someone, or even we can work on ourselves as well, which I have been doing lately too. But mine is just my index and thumb together, and then I use my two fingers for my other hand, my dominant hand, so my thumb and my index finger, and that's a yes for me, and that's a no. And on occasion, I do use a pendulum, but I find I like to work faster, so the pendulum is slower, but I will also use the pendulum to see whether or not a chakra is open, whether it's on a person or a human. And that can all be done by proxy as well. It's just a matter of asking each chakra, and getting a yes or a no, or looking at where that pendulum is swinging as well. And so what are we working on?
We're working on an issue. So what we get a clearly defined issue that the person wants to work on, and then we start asking questions if there are any negative trapped emotions that we can release. And we use a chart that Dr. Bradley Nelson, we'll talk about him in a second. Right. He created this chart, and so I'll be asking, is there a trapped emotion in column A or column B? And is it in an odd row or is it in an even row? And there's up to 6 rows on the chart. And that will give us then a total of 60 negative trapped emotions that we can ask about. And when we get that column and that row, then like in column A, row 3, I'd be asking then about crying, discouragement, rejection, sadness, or sorrow. And by doing the muscle testing, I'll get a yes or a no. When I hit a yes, then it's time to release it. Now, Dana, how do we release negative trapped emotions?
Right. We are going to be using, because the emotion that's coming up, this is called the emotion code, and these are emotions that are energy. So all of these that are in our chakras all over our body, and some of them can start from the size of a lemon to the size of a cantaloupe in our body. And this is actually what can cause migraines, can cause physical pain, can cause back pain. I mean, a lot of these, where the pain is also can be determined on the chart as well. Particularly if there's some issues around the heart and the heart wall, that takes on a whole persona of its own because it requires a little bit deeper and longer work with it. But I don't know, that may or may not come up with me, but when that emotion does come up and we determine what it is, then we're going to use a magnet. So I know the other, yeah.
I've got my magnets, and they're very, very strong magnets.
Yeah, so are mine.
These ones are hematite magnets.
Yeah,
and what magnets do are magnets are pure energy. And what they will do is actually cancel out the negative energy, remove them. So we do a movement like this when we found the negative trapped emotion. We'll do it 3 times. And the reason we do that is in ancient Chinese times, they discovered meridians in the body, energy centers in the body. And the main one runs from the tip of your nose all the way down to the tip of your tailbone. And by doing this, we're actually releasing, canceling that energy that's popped out of the physical system into our energetic system because we've identified it, and then it releases it.
Right, and so we're demagnifying the energy, and if it happens to be a inherited trapped emotion, which it can be, then we're going to take the magnet again from the governing meridian and do it down. If a person is here with us, then we can do it from the tip of the lip all the way down to their spine, but if they're not, then we just do it over the head. And for inherited, we do it 10 times. Mm-hmm. And then again, we're always going to check, is that released? And if we get a yes, that's good. If it's a no, then we may have to ask some more questions around that.
Mm. Right. So now that we've released the negative trapped emotion, the interesting thing is, let's actually, the most important thing is our hydrated practitioner. And you're just drinking your water. I'm going to have a sip of water as well. Energy moves faster through water. We know this. You never pop an electrical appliance into water because that energy will just move quickly. And so we want to be nice and hydrated. I'll test to make sure I'm hydrated enough. And I find that my clients after the sessions also are drinking a lot of water.
Yeah.
Just helps with the whole system.
Yeah.
So
And it's the same with animals, right? There's a lot of processing that goes on, and after the session, the processing is different for everybody. Somebody may feel very tired and really need to relax, or somebody may feel, you may feel a little bit agitated. Some things may come up, but they in time will pass as well, because it's just, toxins, really toxic emotions leaving your body. And then, or you might find yourself, you want to go out in nature. What other things might happen for people, Helena?
Well, actually, recently you did some motion code work on me, and I felt afterwards
Yeah.
peace, a sense of calm and peace. The thing that was really worrying me, upsetting me, it just was and is, and I knew that it would take care of itself as long as I was clear about what I wanted, and it has.
Good, that's great. And when we do, whether we're doing emotion code or Reiki, we're always looking for the highest good of the person. We as practitioners can't decide what that outcome is going to look like, right? If somebody comes to us with a problem, we're not counselors or advisors or whatever. I mean, we may give them other resources, like it may be something medical, because again, we're not doctors. And speaking of, Dr. Brad, who wrote the Emotion Code book, talks about that. As practitioners, we will just give you information, but we never diagnose. We're not saying what's going to cure whatever it is that you have, but we do know that some of those negative trapped emotions that need to be released will be released. We don't always determine what they are. Your subconscious, when we're working for you, is determining that for us. We don't say, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. We don't operate that way because we don't know. It's because, your subconscious, whoa, mighty powerful. Mighty powerful. Lots of things going on there. Yeah.
Mighty powerful. I just love this particular image that describes the subconscious mind. It's an image of an iceberg, and as we know, an iceberg has about 5 to 10% of the top of it showing. The rest of it is underneath the water, and that's the subconscious mind. This is our conscious critical mind. Yeah, exactly. And so when people are wanting changes or working with emotions, it's not our logical mind that we need to tap into. We need to tap into our subconscious mind. And that's what we do with the emotion code. When I work in hypnosis, that's what I do, is I work with the subconscious mind. People that go into that meditative or prayer-like state often are able to tap into the subconscious mind. It's the power center.
Exactly. So I just want to say hello to a few people. So Susan Darnell, thanks so much. Susan is a loyal follower. And Natasha Paula Samuel from Rumford, Essex, thanks so much for watching. Hey, Natasha, how about a weather report? We haven't had any of those for a while. I've got a sunny day in Vancouver. What about you, Helena?
I think it's going to be a sunny day too. It's a little overcast right now. Yeah. It's been raining a little bit, which has been really welcome.
Exactly.
And my friend Karen Woodfield is watching today as well, and she actually is a certified emotion code practitioner as well, and
fabulous.
A hypnotherapist.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, there's so many of the modalities that go together, right? And that's the beauty of it. For people that are interested in this, we usually get attracted to something else. I mean, for me, initially was the law of attraction, and it's all about energy, and that's what I'm going to talk about next while Helena does my session. But the hypnotherapy, the Reiki, the Psyche, all sorts of different modalities that can be used in conjunction to help somebody heal, feel better. And the important thing is to find a modality that appeals to you, that resonates with you. If you don't believe in something, it's never going to work. So congratulations, that's law of attraction. So Helena, I'm going to go in and start talking about the law of attraction here, and how, if you have a block, how that gets started, but also how it how there's some things on a conscious level that we can do to put things in motion, and then that's why Helena's working with the subconscious, because that's obviously where I need a little bit of a push. So with the law of attraction, you know that everything starts with your words. So we'll just use me as an example because that's what we're looking at, but it could be anybody blocked in business, homework, taking a course. So the words I'm saying to myself are something like, well, you know, I know I can do this. I want to do it. I'm very attracted to this. It's new for me, so I don't really know what, you know, whether I'll be good at it or not. However, when I put those words into thoughts and some beliefs, I can say, but you know, whatever I've tried in the past and I've been attracted to, I have been very successful at. So to me, logically, it would make sense that I will do my very best that I can to do the animal Reiki on the animals and also on the guardians, because animals take on their guardians' illnesses as well. So I have to work with the animal to just let them know that they don't have to take that on, and we can work on that, have them feeling calmer or get rid of depression. Maybe they're barking or things like that. But then also I have to work with the guardian. And while I can do the Reiki with the guardian as well, I find that the emotion code works well. So I like using these two healing modalities together. So I said, all right, okay, I believe that I can do this because I've been successful at other things that I've learned. I've learned emotion code and am very successful with that. But you know, once in a while there's a little bit of doubt that creeps in. And what I always have to remember is what I learned in the training, and the same with emotion code, that I can't guarantee the outcome. In fact, I shouldn't even be thinking what I think the outcome would be, other than seeing the person or the animal peaceful and healthy and some of those emotions released. But I have to have that belief that yes, I can do this and I'm going to do it to the very best of my ability, and I'm not going to be concerned about the outcome, because that is left to a much higher power than me. And in Reiki, that's left to Reiki, which is spirit energy. So from that, then I get my feelings or beliefs. So it's yeah, okay, I can do it. So, you know, even now when I'm saying this, I can feel a little bit of hesitation in there. So I'm going to be grateful to Helena for doing this, because I'll see some movement shift, and I'm sure I'll move on to get out there and even start asking for some animals that I can do some just volunteer work for them. So that's the vibe. And then the result, you know, where it's going to go back to my words and my thoughts and my feelings, it just keeps going on and on and on. And so every time I have a negative thought, I'm going to have to ask myself the question by resetting my vibe. So what do I want? Well, I want to do one animal at a time. I want to do it to the very best of my ability. And I know the same with emotion code, that practice, practice, practice is what's going to make me intuitively stronger, and also get me to relax and have the confidence and know that I'm not doing the work is being done through me. So I've often talked about what's called the 3-step deliberate law of attraction process. So I'm going to do this, and what I'm going to do is identify my desire. So what is it that I want with the animal Reiki? Well, I know that I want to work with dogs and cats and some horses. So I need to raise my vibration, and I need to give it attention, and I need to put some energy around some action steps here. So I'm going to put out a Facebook post asking for, it doesn't matter where the animals are, because like emotion code, we do distance healing Reiki as well. So I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at some more videos. I'm going to see where people are successful. I'm going to start thinking about, even in my own building, there's lots of dogs that I can probably work on. So I'm going to raise my vibration and know that there are people and there are animals who I can help. And then the third step that I have to remember to do is to allow it. So I just have to be clear on what it is I want. Do I want to work in some shelters? Do I want to work in, I'm going to do this volunteer at first. do I want to work in some animals in the building, or I know we've got several doggy daycares, and often I walk by and those dogs are barking, barking, barking. So perhaps I can go in there and just offer maybe half hour of being quiet and just quiet and calm down the animals in there. So that's a possibility. So I have to allow the universe to do what it needs to do. I do need to take some action though, right? So I'll have an action plan, and I have to remove doubt that what I want to do is possible. I have to remove any doubt that's saying, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I'll be any good. But what I have to remember is I just have to be the channel in the vehicle. It's not up to me. I can't decide. I can't determine. And I'm not diagnosing. I'm not curing anything. I'm just simply bringing some positive healing energy to calm the animal or the person, and usually the guardian and the animal together. So Helena looks like she's laughing, and so she must have discovered some interesting emotions that came up. So let's find out what's getting released here.
I find this work, but when I'm done, I feel so much lighter, and partly because I'm the person I'm working on, and I know that they're feeling so much lighter because I'm checking. And just one of the emotions that just came up was I was just a little laughing about. But here we go. So the emotions that I released, first of all, was worthless. And when I tuned into what you were talking about, am I good enough? Yeah. And so we released that. Oh, by the way, I checked. Your severity was not an 8, it was a 10.
Okay.
Your subconscious mind said it was a 10. And I think that's about right, because the inaction is pretty much like a 10.
Yeah.
But the second one was yeah, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's kind of sort of.
Yeah, hey, I know what I'm going to do, right? I got it. It's on paper.
That's right. So the second one was pride. And the pride, when we talk about pride, is the false pride. It's like, oh, look, I've got a certificate. It's all good. And then wishy-washy. And I know the law of attraction is all about clarity, intention, and focus, action. So the fourth one was overwhelm, adding in something else to your plate. And then it was, let me see, which one was next? It was an inherited trapped emotion of low self-esteem from your father. And I know your father had worked with animals as well, I believe.
Yeah, he was a racehorse trainer.
Right.
So his father, my brother, my sister have all been horse trainers, and so their racetrack is a very very challenging playground. It's up and down, and so his livelihood depended on his horses winning for his clients, right? And he was leading trainer in Canada for many, many years, but when the dark days come and you're not winning, and then although he would never say that to me, but I'm sure in his mind, because my father did not talk about anything negative actually, and he didn't really tell me what was going on emotionally with him. But there were days where I just know he had to be really feeling, wow, what am I doing, or what am I doing wrong, right? This horse is healthy or whatever, and it should be winning, but it's not, right? And yeah, had I known what I know now, I could have worked on those horses, right?
Yeah.
So
the next emotion was shock, and when I got to shock, it was I know at the very beginning when I was working with my hypnotherapy clients, I was quite I was young and new, and it shocked me what I heard. And
yeah,
now that I've had more experience, I don't take it as shock, because I know how to work through it and how I can help the client work through it.
And that's really, really good point, Helena, because that's been one of my concerns with this is, any animal that's abused is even person, but, if I'm going to go into a shelter, right, they've been abandoned or, they're left, right? So immediately there's going to be abandonment and all those issues. And I know that what I will have to do is just look at what I can do, right? And hear some horrible stories because I already have. I've been to lots of different sites and I've been in shelters myself. I worked at the SPCA for a while, so I know what can happen. And so, yeah, the shock of that is that I'm just going to have to be mindful of what is it that I can do, right? But yeah, it is shocking how some people are treated or what people put up with or what animals have to, put up from a guardian that maybe just didn't know what they were doing or didn't know how to treat an animal or whatever. Yeah, so that's a good one. Thank you for releasing that.
Mm-hmm. And then the one that goes along with that afterward is lack of control.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
It's we are a vehicle, a vessel.
Yeah.
We have knowledge, and we can share that knowledge, but we don't have control over anyone or anybody, and except ourselves and how our mind works. But we can be there to help and assist and guide, inform and inspire.
Yeah.
But we're not able to control.
Right. Exactly. And so where we have to offer other resources, we can do that, but we can't make people, go there or do that or whatever. But, it's always about intention, right? So we go in with a pure intention. Anyone that's doing healing work, it's always about intention. And that whatever is released or done, the healing work is for the highest good of all concerned. And we don't determine that. We don't determine that at all. So the processing for everybody is going to be different. Yeah, very much so.
And sometimes when we work with people, they find some relief, maybe not all the relief that they're looking for, but things start to come up in their lives, and I find that my clients then will start to look at something on maybe a little bit differently.
Yeah, they're more mindful, right? Yeah.
More mindful. Yeah. And sometimes the issue that they've come to work on is not the issue that needs to be worked on. Right. Something else needs to be worked on first. And that's all about the subconscious mind. It will bring forth what it wants to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah,
so that was the end.
Okay.
And I asked if there was any more that we could release today, and it said no. And then I did my test, and it said that you were now 100% ready to go out.
All right, I'm posting it.
Begin your Reiki animal healing business.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, yeah, thanks so much, Helena. I really am looking forward to it. And I think too, this September we're talking about, people taking courses and doing new things. Because I always feel September, having been a teacher and a student for so long, September's always been a new start for me with new offerings. I actually was a school teacher too. So, September's always when new kids, new beginnings, all of that. And, there is that little bit of stress that goes on with it. And last week we worked on somebody, and Helena, I think you got some information about, we just do short emotion code sessions on the Diva Show because that's all we have time for. But, feel free to PM us, to connect with us and hire us for a longer session. But there are some good results from that session you did last week.
Oh, yeah. So last week I worked on a young lady, I think she's about 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And she was having a terrible time going to school, insomnia and anxiety and just a real ill feeling about going to school. So this is the mom. The update is she slept for almost 10 hours after the session. She does feel lighter in mood, and it doesn't feel as like dread and doom and gloom about school. She still hates school, but the nagging I have to do to get her there isn't as bad. Thank you. And now that
Yeah.
that was really a session that lasted maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And when we work together, our sessions, my clients and so forth, are about a half an hour to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And usually I see them about 3 times because we uncover one thing,
Yes.
something more, something more.
Yeah. It's like we start with what they're saying. Even with me, I'm saying, okay, this is it. But I'm sure if we spent more time on it, then other things would come up, maybe even a more core issue of things. Yeah, it's so interesting. So next week we're looking for somebody. We're going to, again, staying on sort of the school and going back to school and work and training, fear of tests.
Hmm.
So we're looking for somebody that has fear of tests. With this course as well, I had to do a test, and it's like, okay, well, so I read all my notes over and, watched videos again and blah, blah, blah. And it had a little bit of anxiety around it, but I know that some people have terrible phobias about tests. I have a brother-in-law that's like that. Just, oh, I'd so like to work with him, but it won't be him. He's not having it. But if you have a, real fear of tests or phobia around that, please let Helena and I know. And Helena, how can people get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me through my website, which is flourishhypnosis.com /emotion-code. I have a Facebook page, Flourish Hypnosis, also a YouTube channel, Flourish Hypnosis, and Helena Jenikin.
Excellent, thank you. And you can find my YouTube channel is Empowered Women in Business. I will eventually be changing that, but not this year. And you can also find me at danasmithers.com /emotion-code. And there's a little bit of information there about animal emotion code as well that I put up there. So until next week, same time, please share, let other people know. We'd love to, we love to be able to educate, inspire, and do a healing session. So we thank all those people. Oh, speaking of that, Helena, I should mention that we have a special episode coming up. It's just right after the Canadian Thanksgiving. So it's October 10th. And we want to invite people on the show that we have done emotion code sessions with. So you'll be on the show like us. We call this Hollywood Squares. So I'll be sending you a link to it. So let us know. And we just want to see, what did we work with? What was the process like for you? What things transpired? So I know each week we do, once in a while, Helena will, we might do each other, but usually we do somebody that lets us know. And we had Jonesy the Rooster. Have you heard anything more about Jonesy?
Jonesy the Rooster's mom is quite a busy lady.
Well, we won't have Jonesy on, but we could,
Yes, we will get an update because I believe Jonesy was doing really, really well. So I'm going to check on that.
Yeah. So anybody that's been on the show, please think about that. October 10th, either PM Helena or myself, or just let us know on the page as well, and we would be delighted to have you on the show. We can have quite a few people on, so it'll be a fun time. And always good to hear, because for everything, time passes. And as Helena and I have said, some things are very immediate. Other things take a little bit longer because your subconscious and actually also your ego is fighting changes, right? It's like, oh, I don't know. Do we really want to do that? And blah, 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 right? That's why we have to go into the subconscious mind for that. So until next time, thanks so much. Please share, and thanks again for watching.